So we're going to start with removing the bar so I can get it off. I'm going to put a quick coat of paint on it, and then we'll get the light bar mounted to that. So here's the bar. We're going to be mounting the light right up on top of this, but we're going to get the paint cleaned up on this first. I have this nice stainless steel color. We're going to see how that looks on the bar. Okay, so we did a quick little spray paint on that, and hopefully that bee doesn't land in my paint. So here is the light kit that I got from Amazon. It's not anything super fancy. It's this company called Nilight, I don't know, something like that. Nilight, whatever it is. Anyway, it comes with a rocker switch to mount into the dash. It comes with a relay pack to make sure you don't overload the actual switch, and then the actual light itself, and I think enough wiring to do what I gotta do. So now that I have the bar off at the top, what we have to do is run some power from the battery, which is right here, and we're going to be putting the switch on the other side. So we're going to actually run all the wiring probably across the bed and up to catch the light, and then across and over to catch into the cab. So the truck actually already has 4 spots right here for a rocker switch, and 1 more on this side over here. And I'm actually going to use the last spot over here with the rocker switch. We're just going to cut this out and knock that piece right out. That was actually super easy to get out. The plastic that's around this edge here is super thin, so it just needed a few scrapes with an X-Acto knife, and it came right out. Clean up the edges, and we'll get the rocker switch mounted in there once we figure out how we're going to wire this. So here's the instructions on wiring it. It gives you 2 options for the actual switch itself, and what that will do will make the light turn on the switch if the key is on, or it will make the light turn on the switch only if the switch is on. So basically the light will be out all the time, or the light will be on with the key, and that's just the little indicator that's on the actual switch itself. So this little thing will glow if I hook it up under option A, and then under option B, this will only light when I actually click it on. So I think I'll probably do option A, where it's always lit, and then I think it actually lights up a little brighter when you actually click it on, but we'll see how that works. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. We run the fused link to the battery, and then the negative to the battery, and then that all goes to the relay, and the relay spits power out between the switch and to the light bar itself. The light bar itself has an end that doesn't have the connectors on it yet, so we're going to have to put some spade heads on this, which actually come in the kit somewhere, and then past that, everything else has these nice spade connectors with little rubber boots on them. So, and then here are the additional fuses and the other spades that we need. So the first thing we'll do is get this switch wired through here, see where all the wiring ends up, see if we have to extend these wires any. That looks nice. So I'm trying to see now if there's somewhere I can easily send these wires out. I might be able to get it down here through the A pillar. I'm not sure if that opens up at the bottom or not. So it looks like I can send it out of this grommet. I'm going to poke a little hole in it and see if I can get the wires to run cleanly through it. I'm not crazy about the fact that it'll be under my accelerator pedal, but I think it'll be okay. I could try to get it through this, but this is where the actual accelerator cable's through. I don't really like any of these options, but it looks like putting a hole through this is going to be my best one right now. Let's see if I can just go right through the center and make a little opening that I can fit around that Molex connector. The other thing I think I'm going to do is depin this so I can actually just take this pin off, or take this connector off, and then re-put it back on later once I get it through. And there should be a little tab inside here. I don't know if you can see that. But inside there are the little pins. I'm going to try to get those out of there and then put them back in. I make a tool for doing this, but I don't have it. There's one out. There's two out. There's three out. So now that I have the Molex connector off, I think that's the name brand of those, I'm gonna push these all through the little opening I made. I'm gonna make this opening a little bit bigger. So this is just a little rubber floor grommet. That would be normally, I guess, to drain the water if there was water in the car, or allow for pass-through wires. So that's basically what we're using it for right now. Just pull these wires through one at a time. And the benefit this way is that the car will still stay pretty water, and fumes and all that stuff will stay out of the cab as much as they can. Okay, so those are routed through the grommet now. I'll push the rest of the black wire through a little bit. And part of my goal is to keep this tucked up against the firewall really nice. So let's see where this actually ends up when I put it back in place. I can keep it right along there, and the floor mat will kind of keep it down. And I'll probably add a tie wrap right here just to kind of give it a little extra. I think I'm going to put it on this side of the pedal. So now I can actually strap it to the accelerator cable right here. Put a little tie wrap on that, and that'll be much nicer right there. So let's put this connector back on the other side. And I made the crucial mistake of forgetting which order they went in. So I grabbed the connector on the other side, and they're going to lock in together like this. They're going to lock together like this, which means the white goes here, red in the middle, black on the end. Okay, and there's a little click noise once they're all in, and now that connector is secured again. But now if we check this and just make sure that our connections are right, you can see everything slides in nice, and that's the order that they're going to go in. There's a big bunch of other wires and hoses that run this way down the chassis, so we're actually going to run, this is the wire, we're going to run it up the same area and then over and across, so it'll actually sit kind of in front underneath the bumper here. I don't know if we'll be able to record this well, but I'm going to set the camera down and we'll see what we'll get. I don't actually have the truck jacked up or anything, I'm just laying on my back underneath it, so wires will run through here, and then we'll put a couple zip ties in this to keep it straight. Now what that's going to do is, you can see the relay hanging right there. So what that's going to do is put the relay right underneath the seats, and I'll actually be able to change out the relay if it dies. They've been known to from time to time. I'm going to grab some zip ties. Okay, so I have most of the wires zip tied up here. This is the length of wire that's left over to get to the battery, so I'm definitely going to have to extend that. And then this is the wire that's left to go up to the lights. We'll see how far those end up once I get the bar back on the truck. So that's next. Yep, that's how you access the underside of this thing. See, there are wires hanging there. There's the motor. Battery's over on that side. So we're gonna get this relay mounted. So the relay gets just far enough that I think I'm just gonna put a screw right there into the chassis, or into this little cross member thing. This is just sheet metal, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I'll attach the relay there, and then we'll extend the wires the rest of the way across the cross member. I might make this into like a little storage space or something. I gotta figure out how to get something in here that'll be kind of useful. A lot of wasted space in this truck. What are you thinking? Before we get the wires extended for the battery, we're going to see if we can route the actual wires for the power coming up this line here. There's a little bit of a gap between the bed and the cab, so hopefully we can get it in there. What I'm gonna do is actually fish something down there and try to pull the wires up through the top. So I just figured out an easier way. Looks like I can just slide this wiring between the gap and the bed. So, with this all secured in and zip tied up, and we should be good. Okay, so according to the directions, you want to use anywhere between 16 and 12 gauge wire, depending on how many watts we're pulling out of the light, which isn't really much. It's probably only around 180 watts. I have 14 gauge wire. This is what we're going to use to extend the lengths of the terminal connectors to the battery. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off those ring connectors there, And then we're going to add some butt connectors to the end of this, and then we'll extend those out. So the way I like to do these is I hook up the red and black wires with male and female connectors instead of two males. This way, when you know, if these wires get really dirty or you're trying to disconnect something, you can't see what's going on with them. When you go to rehook the wires back up, you'll always know which one goes to where, because there's, you know, you can only hook up the female to the male side. Also, since power is coming from the battery over here, I'd rather have the positive side have the covering over it, so we're going to make that one the female side coming from the battery. This way, if this is hanging loose and it touches the frame or anything else, it's still grounded and won't, or it's shielded and won't hopefully cause any sparks or fires. Alright, so that's done on this side. Now what we're going to do is add an extension to this and route it over to the battery. So up to this point, we haven't had to disconnect the battery because we haven't been working with anything with live power. So now we're going to disconnect the battery here. Now the negative is off. And the positive is disconnected. Now, typically you would want the fuse as close to the battery as possible. Unfortunately, with the wiring that we have, it's hard for me to do that. I can put a second fuse in over here. There is a fuse over here right now. I'm not sure what it goes to, but we're going to keep the fuse under the seat. At least it's easy to access. If something happens and I need to get in to change that fuse, I can do it real quick. There should be no reason for that to go bad anytime soon. So the next thing we're going to do is find an appropriately sized lug to attach to the batteries. So that should fit on there fine. Just need to get a second one of those. There we go. There should be two of the same sizes. Just check the fit on the screw head there. Those fit. So what we're going to do is get these wires routed over underneath the car, figure out roughly how they're going to go. We'll get them trimmed to size and get the end connectors on them. So I left myself some extra wire so I can route them where they need to go. Let's get the butt connectors on this side, and then we'll start routing it from the fuse back towards the battery. Remember, we said from the battery we'll want the female side on the power lead so that it's protected in case this wire comes loose. Ground wire will get the male. So now that these wires are wrapped up nice, we're going to route this across the cross member and down to the battery. going to route the negative through a bundle of other wires that are also negative. This will help keep it up out of the way. Now all we need to do is cut this and put the lug end on it. Give myself just a little bit of extra. We'll do the same to the positive side. Now, hopefully the brackets are dry. We'll get that done and then make the final connections to the battery. Okay, that's secure. Now, let's get light mounted. So it looks like the head locks in place with the stand. So all we have to do is attach it with the nut onto the bottom. This side should be the same. That just attaches in there, so I'll get these secured down, but first I want to position the light better. To position the light, there's 2 Allen keys on either side, and we're just going to rotate it back the other way. Okay, so that's pretty secure up there. Now we're going to route the wire down the side of this. So the excess wire ends up pulling back into under the seat cab, which means my 2 extra wires are here. It's kind of neat because I could actually tack on a secondary light to this as well and run it somewhere else in the car. I'll get this all buttoned up here, and then I think we'll be all set. So the final step is to just attach the battery. I will start with the positive side. Positive, and we'll do the negative. And now, let's see if we didn't fry every electronic in the car. Just kidding, very little wrong I did. We got some lights. So it's daytime, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on with that, but those are pretty damn bright. You can see that awesome steel finish on the bar. The light's mounted right there. And that'll make some shit pretty bright. So here's my road without my big lights on, and there's my road with the lights on. Pretty goddamn big difference. Yikes. Light some shit up. Off, on. Daytime. So that's it for this video. This is a pretty simple mod that just about anybody can do. Feel free to ask any questions below in the comments, or tell me what you'd like us to work on next. Thanks, and consider subscribing. See you for the next one.